Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're taking a really deep dive into the world of coffee craft, and we are going to transform you from a mere button pusher into a true coffee professional. We're going to completely dissect those everyday, common barista mistakes that separate the absolute amateurs from the true masters behind the espresso machine. So if you want to elevate your daily workflow and guarantee a top-tier customer experience every single time, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get into it. Okay, let's dive into this because the stakes here are actually incredibly high. The physical and mental errors we're going to cover today, they aren't just about pouring a bitter cup of coffee. No, these bad habits are expensive equipment killers. We are literally talking thousands of dollars in potential damage to the hardware. And let me tell you, espresso machines do not weep quietly. They break, and they break expensively. Plus, you've got the silent cost of lost customers who just stop coming back because your quality is wildly inconsistent. So, I want to challenge you right off the bat. Are you a professional barista or just a button pusher? Because a button pusher just kind of goes through the motions, right? They let bad habits slide. But a true professional, they respect their craft, they respect the equipment, and they actively avoid the amateur pitfalls we're about to explore. Having that right mindset is absolutely everything here.
To systematically level up your skills, we've broken this explainer down into 4 main pillars. First, we'll cover how to protect your coffee machine. Second, how to stop ruining your extraction. Third, the secrets to perfect milk. And finally, why you need to know more than the menu.
All right, pillar number 1, protect your coffee machine and save that expensive equipment. Here is an absolute non-negotiable rule for your workflow. Never, ever put any liquids, syrups, or sugars on top of the espresso machine. I know. It is so incredibly tempting to use that nice warm surface for storage or prep, but when a spill happens, and trust me, it will, those liquids leak directly down into the machine's pumps. The sugars literally melt and caramelize right onto the hot internal components. It's incredibly difficult to remove, and it causes massive financial damage. Just do yourself a favor and keep the top clear. Which brings us to one of the most stubborn and honestly destructive myths in the coffee industry. That old habit of soaking steam wands and group handles overnight in a mix of water and chemicals? Yeah, that has got to go. We are completely done with this. See, soaking destroys the steam wand because there's a vacuum that pulls that toxic water and chemical mixture right up into the machine, totally breaking down the O-rings. And for your portafilters, the chemicals split the rubber and eat away at the thread glue. The new rule is simple. Rinse your handles throughout the day and rely on a heavy wet cloth to break down milk on the wand. Honestly, if you feel like you need to soak your steam wand overnight, you simply aren't wiping it properly during your shift. 1 kilo. That number needs to be your new best friend. For every 1 kilo of coffee you put through that machine, whether it's a giant commercial setup or just your machine at home, a proper chemical clean is required. Throughout the day, you also need to be back flushing regularly using your blind basket. Oh, and you can't forget your invisible protector, the water filters. If you don't keep your water filters up to date, you're essentially sending dirty water straight into your boiler, which ruins both the flavor of your coffee and the machine itself over the long run. Our final point on machine protection is all about the hopper. A dirty hopper is just a massive red flag to customers. It basically screams that the barista doesn't care. Coffee beans leave residual oils that stick to the plastic, right? So every time you add a new kilo, just take a dry paper towel and wipe the inside out. Then, once a week, take it completely off, empty it out, and wash it with hot, soapy water. Just make sure you never, ever put it in the dishwasher or you will warp and ruin the plastic. Clean hoppers prevent old, stale oils from transferring their gross flavors onto your gorgeous fresh beans. Okay, moving right along to pillar number 2. Stop ruining your extraction and perfect your espresso. If you take absolutely nothing else away from this section, please let it be this. Stop tapping the basket with your tamper. It's super common, right? Baristas distribute the grounds, tamp them down, and then tap, tap, tap the side of the portafilter to knock down the loose grounds. Well, the crucial point here is, the very second you tap that basket after you've already tamped, you break the delicate seal of the coffee puck against the metal wall. Since water always takes the path of least resistance, it causes channeling, which completely ruins both the extraction and the flavor of your coffee. Just distribute, tamp once evenly, and lock it in. To avoid those extraction disasters, you really need a flawless, rapid workflow between every single shot. Step 1. Knock out the old puck into the waste tube. Step 2. You absolutely must dry wipe the basket. We do not want negative, stale flavors carrying over to the next customer's coffee. And step 3, flush the group head. Every single time you take that handle out, push that button. Flushing cleans the old grounds off the shower screen and ensures you have beautifully stable, hot water completely prepped for the very next shot. It's such a tiny habit, but it makes a massive difference in the cup. Let's slide over to pillar number 3, the secrets to perfect milk, where you really master your station. Okay, time to address a major pet peeve right now. Throw away the spoon for flat whites. Using a spoon to hold back froth is just a completely outdated technique. Seriously, if you are texturing your milk properly, you should be able to pour a flawless flat white directly from the jug. And speaking of jugs, never reuse old heated milk, ever. Get a jug rinser or at least rinse your jugs thoroughly with water between every single coffee so you're always starting fresh. Now, hygiene at the milk station relies heavily on color coding. Think pink cloth for the steam wand, brown cloth for the bench. You absolutely cannot use the same cloth for both. Cross-contaminating these means you are basically just smearing crusty coffee grinds and old sour milk all over everything. It is incredibly unsanitary. And while we're talking about appearances, keep the front of your milk jugs clean. Dirty old milk stains on the outside of your jugs, that's a terrible, terrible look from the customer's side of the counter. So let's lock in your definitive steam wand workflow. First up, purge the condensation out of the wand before it ever goes into the milk. Second, steam your milk. Third, immediately wipe the wand using that dedicated heavy wet cloth, because the wet cloth easily breaks down those milk proteins. And fourth, purge the wand again to blast out any of that residual milk trapped inside the tip. Trust me, customers actively hate seeing a dirty, crusty steam wand that looks like some prehistoric artifact. Don't be that barista. And finally, pillar number 4. No more than the menu. It's time to truly be a professional. I absolutely love this quote from our sources. Don't just memorize the menu like a robot. What's really interesting about this concept is that it gets straight to the heart of what makes a truly great cafe experience. Managers and customers deeply respect a barista who actually understands the craft, rather than someone who's just guessing or blindly reading off a chalkboard. Actually knowing the why behind the coffee builds immense trust. For instance, when a customer leans over the counter and asks you, what is the exact difference between a cappuccino and a flat white, you shouldn't just shrug or guess. You need to be able to explain the difference in foam depth, the milk texture, and the ratio with absolute, hesitation-free confidence. That level of deep knowledge is exactly what separates a true professional from a novice who's just mashing buttons and hoping for the best. I want to wrap up this explainer by leaving you with a really provocative question. If a customer judged your cafe solely by looking at your steam wand, would they come back? Take a hard look at your daily habits. Are you protecting your machine? Are you protecting your extraction? Are you actually studying your craft? Because if you master these fundamentals and avoid these common mistakes, you won't just be making coffee. You'll be delivering an exceptional experience every single time. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.